This is PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Trevor's tested waters help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Trevor's tested waters help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you eat.
Hey guys, it's me, Travis with PlayerProps.ai, and so we're looking for the Tuesday MLB games. But first, quick recap. So yesterday, we did our normal filters we've been doing all MLB season long for MLB strikeouts. And if you watched yesterday's show, which if you haven't, shame on you. But if you haven't watched yesterday's show, we did the filters, and then as soon as we did the filters, not a single prop for strikeouts showed up. So essentially, nothing was hitting even our base filters. So then we played around, and we went to the pitching outs, which is one of my, I think, top 3 or 4 stats that I look at for baseball anyway. And we found that there weren't any trifectas necessarily for outs, but we wanted to kind of dip our toes into the outs pool, if you will. So we looked at 3 different things. It was like Schwellenbach, I think that's his name, for Braves, for him to pitch at least 7 full innings, which he did, so that hit. And then it was the 2 pitchers in the Cleveland and New York Yankees game that kind of flip-flopped, where we had the Yankees pitcher going a little deeper than he did, and we had the Cleveland pitcher getting pulled a little quicker than he did. So those 2 didn't work out for us, but we already have trifectas rules set up for pitching outs, and no, none of them were trifectas, but at the same time, the strikeout, there wasn't even any strikeouts one that was even like almost a trifecta. So long story short, we learned our lesson with pitching outs yesterday by dabbling in that, but we're going to go back to the well for strikeouts. There's a lot more games today than there was yesterday, so the hope is that when we hit these filters, that something lines up with a minimum line of 3 and a difference of 17 or greater. Now, I don't know what's going to pop up when I click apply filters because I never look at the stuff before I hit record. So you guys see exactly how the person that created this app, this site for you guys, how I'm using it from scratch. Because if I look at everything beforehand, then you're not really learning how like my brain works with everything. And we actually have a lot of pictures that are in that filtered range, which is more than the 0 we had yesterday. So let's just take a quick peep here. Patrick Corbin, 3.5 line, projection 4.85, that's 1.35 over, so that's a check. Zach's a check, but I think we were saying in Discord last week that we're kind of hesitant on doing Tampa Bay pitchers because we're noticing the manager is either pulling them too early or pulling them too late, so that's because the Tampa Bay manager sucks. That's why we're hesitant on that, but technically it is a trifecta. Brandon is a trifecta. And then Shota is a trifecta. Nobody else is a trifecta on the over, but those handful. And then under, technically Nick Martinez is a trifecta. And that is it. So yeah, he's actually the only pitcher that has a projection for strikeouts less than his line. He's the only person who's got a negative difference. But yeah, he's got a 1.05 difference on the under, and the sportsbooks are favoring it as well. So is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 people, 5 pitching strikeout, or 5 strikeout props that are technically in that trifecta range. Now, we do the extra due diligence to see which ones we like the most. So you remember every episode this year, we also get team trends. We want to see if there's any teams that are striking out a lot, any teams that are not striking out enough, any teams that are on our ban list. So to start with Corbin, who's got the biggest difference here. So we're looking for the Athletics, Las Vegas Athletics, the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Dodgers. Okay, so those are the ones we want to look at here. Going through the list. So Dodgers are 14th most strikeouts. So that's good for Shota. Tampa Bay's 15. So that's good for Brandon. What else are we looking at? it's crazy because you guys know that like the Athletics have been a bad team for a very long time, and now they're technically on the season so far they are the seventh fewest strikeouts, and they actually are their top three in average strikeouts over the last 3 games, but top two overall this season. So we're not gonna target Athletics, even if so. The player versing Athletics is Corbin, right? And he's like at a very low line of 3.5. But even if you look at this, you're like, oh well, they strike out 5, 6 times here. You can do 3.5. But those strikeouts can be after Corbin gets pulled, and then they put the relief pitchers in with fresh arms. So even though his line's at 3.5, I'm not 100% in love with the fact that the Athletics are the second least strikeoutiest team so far this season. What are some other ones? So Arizona's top 5, and we had Tampa Bay. What was it? Zach Littell, another trifecta. So I might stay away from that one as well. Actually, hold on. It looks like over the last 3 games, Arizona, Tampa Bay and Arizona are actually like tied for second on most strikeouts. They've been, Arizona struck out 10 times in the last game, Tampa Bay 15. So even though Arizona has a very low average for the season, they've been striking out a ton. And there's a very big split difference between only 5.9 strikeouts at home and 9 strikeouts away. This is interesting. So the season one scares me, but the recent stuff looks pretty juicy. I'm just gonna pull these matchups here, so I don't have to go back and forth on my screen. So Tampa Bay. So yeah, so it's at home. So the Arizona game's at home, which for whatever reason they're not striking out at home. They're striking out a ton away. 9 strikeouts away, 5.9 at home. I could only assume that this is the biggest difference between home and away strikeout splits. And because the Arizona Diamondbacks are at home, maybe we're just going to pump the brakes on that here. So, let's recap. Athletics, don't likey. Me no likey. Dodgers are 14 in middle of the pack. And then we have Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay and Dodgers. Let me go back to the ones we were looking at so we can figure out who we're ruling out here. So Las Vegas, second least strikeoutiest team. Pump the brakes on Corbin. Arizona having really good home strikeout splits in terms of not striking out, passing on Zach. Tampa Bay being in the middle of the pack, striking out a lot recently. Brandon is somebody that we can target here. And then Dodgers do strike out a lot as well, and Shota's got good strikeout stuff as long as he doesn't get beat up early. So those 2 overs are the ones we're considering. And then who was the under one again? Nick Martinez versus Miami. Miami's been striking out a ton, I believe. So this may rule him out. Where's Miami? Yeah, Miami's 5th most strikeouts. Granted, their last game they only struck out twice, which is, I think, the lowest. But over the last 3 games on average, 11.33, and they're one of the few teams that are over 9 strikeouts home and away. So yeah, they're striking out a lot. So I don't like going under strikeouts if somebody's striking out a lot. So we're going to rule out Martinez under there. So now let's pull up the individual player pages for Brandon and Shota, our 2 targets here. All right. So this guy has strikeout stuff because you can't get 12 strikeouts against a major league team unless you got some strikeout stuff. And he got double digits last year against the Dodgers here. Against Milwaukee, got 12, 9 against San Diego, which is typically a low strikeout team. But if we focus on the actual stuff this season, he's hit this line 50% of the time this season. Against Washington, Baltimore, he only got 4 and 3. So he hooked here, only got 3 here, and then his game against Miami got 6. What I typically like to see here, if possible, is that both versus lefties versus righties is 20 or higher. So He's not allowing a massive average against righties. He's just not really punching them out, which means they're getting out by ground outs, fly out, foul outs, pop outs. He's actually allowing a higher hit rate, a higher average against lefty batters, but he's striking them out a whole lot more. I'm not really in love with the accuracy being 51.4% either, but it's good to note that his line was actually 5.5, and it's dipped down to 4.5. So now let's look at Shota here, which is our other trifecta target. First thing, the Dodgers, which do strike out more often than not. So this is going to be his sixth start. 2 strikeouts against the Dodgers here, the very first game of the season in Tokyo, and then Arizona, San Diego, Texas, 4-4-4. So he's pitching, not pitching deep here. He only had 4 innings pitched here, but he's got 7 innings, hooked with 7 innings, hooked with 5 innings, and then hit with 5 innings against San Diego, which again is not is known actually as the least strikeoutiest team so far this season, and they were last season as well, I believe. He's not giving up a huge average to righties, 0.178. Strikeout rate is 18.5. Looks like he's striking out. So yeah, people aren't really getting a lot of hits on him, and he averages about 18.6 percent strikeout rate for righties and lefties. And if his last start, it looks like what I see here is shaking off the rust. So 4 games shaking off the rust. Had a couple games here where he pitched 7 innings, 7.1 innings, and then 5 and 5. So I believe, yeah, like this was him. So look at his last season stuff here. He's got double-digit stuff. He's got 3 games of 10 or more. His last 20 starts, and then this, I feel like this is just shaking off the rust here. The Cubs are actually pretty good this year. Their offense is doing damage, but then this is this season again. He's got, and yeah, sure, he versed the Dodgers here, but I think this is because he got lit up early, and he only pitched 4 innings, so. Can't really expect somebody to get 5 strikeouts in 4 innings. But this lets me know that he's allowed to pitch deeper into games because they're letting him go 7 innings and 7.1 innings. As long as... Oh, he actually has 0 ERA here. But I think this was just... Okay, so yeah, this game is an outlier. We're not going to pay attention to that one. He said he didn't give up any runs. And then here 1, here 1, here 5. So that's why he only got 5 innings. Here none, went 5 innings. Probably had a high pitch count. So I know there's a lot of red here and here, but again, I'm looking at this as him shaking off the rust. He's trending upwards, and we know that there's some pitchers that managers won't keep out there for more than 5 innings. Like, okay, you're capped to 5 innings, that's that. So I really like the fact that he already has 2 starts this year at 7 and 7.1 innings pitched. So if he's doing decent and not getting beat up, one earned run, then the manager's going to keep him out there. And Dodgers, again, have a little bit better than middle of the pack strikeout rate. So I don't ever want to do 2 that we look at for a show. Because if we do 3, in theory, we have the ability to still have profit if one of them misses. But if you do 2, if you do 1 or 2 and 1 misses, so if you do 1 and it misses, you don't have profit. If you do 2 and 1 misses, you don't have profit. And so that's why I don't like doing 2, either 1 or 3. And because we don't have 3, then I think I want to focus on 1. And I think I really like the fact that when his line first opens at 5.5, so we're getting it a full strikeout cheaper. We have a 30% percentage difference for Brandon, and Shota was 27. Let me look at, I should click the same tool. Hold on. So yeah, Dodgers and Tampa Bay are like 14-15. But if we look at recency though, so these guys are almost identical. and the two teams were looking at pitchers versing on average strikeouts, 8.43, 8.35. So then go over a few more columns. Dodgers recently have still hovered around their average, but Tampa Bay, 11.63 of their last 3 games, 15 in their last game. They struck out 15 times. So I think we're going to focus on one for this one, and we're going to focus on Brandon there. So the last thing we always do is we see if we can find it. So it started at 5.5. It's now at 4.5. Can we find it any cheaper? So it looks like it's 5.5 on Fanatics and FanDuel, so you do not want to do that. You want to get the best line possible, which every other book seems to have that. So that's what we're locking in, ladies and gentlemen. Again, as you see above my head, if you have any questions about anything whatsoever, do not hesitate to ask. There's no such thing as a dumb question in our community. We are ranked the most friendliest, most welcoming sports betting community in North America. So if you're not in there yet, don't know what you're doing, that is where people go to learn how to lose less often and be a better. So jump in there. Good luck, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.